thought we'd do it on the avenue.
Waas, Sappening.
All right, we are back for another episode of SeunevA Lifestyles presents What's Happening Podcast. I'm Tim. To my left, I got my primo Mike.
What's up? What's up?
To his left, we got another primo Jeff.
What's crapping?
At the very end, we got Metal.
Jorge.
Jorge. Right, we got the semi-paid intern over here. All right, hey. I know we were together a week or so ago.
Yeah.
And you guys had some things to get off your chest. Everything's cool. I'll share a little thing this morning. I woke up hungover. Well, the wife woke me up hungover. Dishwasher was leaking last night. So guess what happened at 7:30 this morning? Babe. She turns off the ceiling fan. I always know something's up when she turns the ceiling fan off. Babe. Dishwasher's leaking. So there I am in my
Tanga.
and my homies, I call my sleepy shorts my homies. And my homies and chocolates tearing apart the dang dishwasher. Found the leak. I'll fix it this afternoon. That's how my Sunday morning started.
There you go.
And you?
Me? Nothing, man. Busy week. Got to say though that during the week, had a proud father moment. The unpaid intern was recognized this week for being a National Honor Society scholar.
Oh, awesome. Hey, let's get a round of applause for him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right on.
In addition to, we got his letter from Arizona State University that he's been admitted to the Barrett Honors College.
Nice, Mule.
I'm a Sun Devil, man.
I'm sorry for making fun of your weak eye, boy. Congratulations, Mule. Congratulations.
In addition to that, too, he won another award. The junior and senior teachers pick students on who they recognize that put in hard work. And I got to say, man, Chico does put in a lot of work in school and stuff like that, man. And that's why a lot of times, I don't bother him and stuff. And I know that he puts in the work and it's paid off. So one of his teachers recognized him and gave him the Trevor Noah Award for literary excellence.
Wow.
And
nice.
It was based on the books that he read. And, ever since Chico was a young man, our boy, he's always read, man. He's always had a book in his hand. And that was one of the things that I told him and his brother, like, look, man, if you guys anytime you guys ever ask me for a book, I'll never say no. We're going to always go buy it. You ask me for toys and stuff like that, I'll buy you some. But, there's times where I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to buy you a toy. But if it's a book or something that's going to stimulate the brain, no questions asked, we're going to go buy it.
Nice. Well, hey, congratulations to you and Ange, too, man.
Yeah. Good job.
So that was cool, man. So it was a really good week for me.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Congratulations, man. We're proud of you, too. Proud of you, too.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely took after Ange. I just know.
They say the apple don't fall too far from the tree, right?
But it rolls down the hill sometimes.
That is funny.
But, Chico's a good kid, man.
Yes,
He's
he
always
is.
been a good kid, and, he does everything right.
Nice, Mil. Congratulations. Good job.
Yep.
Good job.
Yeah. What's up with you, Jeff?
Not much, man. We did our annual Cinco de Mayo golf tournament yesterday. Raised some money for the West Side Recreation Program. Did that yesterday, and then good turnout. Of course, it's sold out every year. Right when the registration starts. So it sold out back in February.
Nice.
Yeah, it sold out, and then raised a ton of money, for the kids. And then from there, went to check out the Derby.
Yes.
And then watched a little boxing last night. That's about it,
How'd you shoot at the golf tournament?
Our team, we shot 58. So we shot 14 under, which is good. Yeah, felt good.
And I heard you're on a losing streak right now with the raffles and stuff.
I am, yeah. I always win. I always, win something. And last week, I went to another fundraiser after the podcast, and man, no luck there. I was one. For the 50-50.
Yeah.
It was last three digits was 426. I had ticket number 427. That was a close one. But I always win something. Last week at that fundraiser, I didn't win anything. This year, I didn't win anything. And I buy shit ton of raffle tickets. It's for a cause, you know what I mean? And I always walk away with something, but not
Hell yeah.
Not this time.
Did you win anything on the horse race?
No, I didn't bet.
Okay,
No,
okay.
I don't
Did
Not too educated
Did
on
anybody
that.
win anything in the
I
horse
think
race?
Sudi won like $300.
Oh, three.
Yeah,
Nice.
Right on.
I think he won like $300. But other than that,
It was it a mutter that won?
His mutter was a mutter. Yeah. I hit a little $113.
Did you?
Oh, did you?
easy there, high roller.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing I heard, Jeff, is they posed the question to you: if you had a horse, what would you name your horse?
My face.
Why my face?
So when everybody's yelling, "Come on, my face! Come on, my face! Come on, my face!"
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, they told you that. They told you that I said that
They told me
yesterday.
that yesterday, yeah.
Oh man,
It's probably
I was feeling good when I said that one yesterday.
I was feeling good.
it's probably more voodoo than horse, man.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
So,
Nice.
What's up with you, Snoop?
Nothing, man. Just thinking back, this has been a whole year. We did our Cinco de Mayo episode last year. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
We did a special episode, and thinking about what we've done throughout the year, all the interviews we've gone through, and all the people we've talked to and stuff like that, and just tripping out that it's been a whole year already. Other than that, no, just same thing. Just
working and paying bills.
working, paying bills, and it's Cinco de Mayo weekend. There was some fights this weekend. They were kind of bummers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Other than that, nothing much.
Yo, this guy on Tuesday morning, dude, about 6:30 in the morning, he calls me. He's like, "Hey, where are you at?" I go, "I'm at home."
Oh, me.
Yeah. He says, "At your house? I go, "Yeah, I'm at my house, man. What's up?" He goes, "Can you do me a favor, dude? Can you run by my pad? I think I left the water on."
That's so.
And he goes, "I didn't realize it till now, and I'm already at work." So, dude, I back up what I'm doing, and I go to his house, dude. There's no water run. There's a dog barking next door.
That's what happens when you get old. You start forgetting little things like that, you know?
The water guy was turning the water off.
Yeah. He goes, man, I left the hose on, dude. I bet you my backyard's flooded.
I thought that's what was going to happen, and then lo and behold, it wasn't on. I was, thanks, man. Thanks for doing that. But, I get the story. Oh,
You should have turned it on.
I get the story. Oh, your neighbor's got a dog. He's a big dog. And I knew you were going to get scared, man.
Yeah, man. The
I
dog was
knew you
ready
were
to get
gonna-
out of the fence. I was like, oh, this guy set me up to get
It's
bit.
all locked up. Man, come on.
But you know what's funny,
That's
dude?
it.
I went by where the valve was, and he had his little chanclas right there, all full of grass and mud.
Yeah. I walked out to the garden.
I was cracking up at those little shoes right there.
They're all curled up. They're all curled up from the sun.
He's doing some yard work.
Oh man.
And they get you from one place to the other right there.
Yeah. What are friends for? What are friends for?
That's it.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Hey,
what's up?
Timmy, I didn't know you were married, so.
Going on 35 years. All right. Going on 35 years. Hey, on that note, I want to introduce a couple of special guests we have right now today.
Yeah.
We got you guys may have seen him on the Lowrider show, the car show. We got Jesse, right? We got Pep, right? And father-in-law, son-in-law.
Somebody I know. Right on.
Welcome, man. Welcome, guys.
Welcome, fellas. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So, I'm not quite sure. Like, you're a world class paintballer, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And Jesse, how? Now I'm gonna go into the whole thing because maybe everybody in here. How did you two? I mean, what's going on there?
Well, Pep and my daughter used to date a few years back, and during the whole, time together, we made a connection, and ever since then, we still hang out.
Yeah.
We had a good relationship, and otherwise, his and my daughter's relationship is something else, but we maintained one.
Oh,
and,
nice.
and it's ongoing.
Okay,
Nice.
good. My father-in-law passed away. God bless his soul, and he was a good man. Man, he was a good father-in-law. And over the 35 years, my wife and I have been, we've had our moments, right? And he was always a good man to me, man. And we had a connection. So I know what you guys got. I mean.
Yeah, he saved me from a lot of things, psychologically, physically. And it wasn't like he was there, but he was there.
Right.
You could go to him.
Yeah, I could go to him. He was around,
That's cool.
But yeah.
All right. So you, I mean, you guys still? I saw you guys at the car show, so I don't want to blow that.
That's actually one of our things, man. Every year we try to make it a point that we're gonna go to the car show and hang out and spend some time together.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
definitely. It's like when the Super Show rolls around, that's our thing. We go and hang out and just catch up and pick up where we left off.
All right,
Hell yeah.
all right. And so you're both. I know you said you came in '83. You said
1983. Yeah.
And you've been here since the '60s, right? In this neighborhood right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I wasn't in the '60s. I was born in the '60s and grew up in the '70s and '80s.
Another Falcon. Another Falcon.
Another Falcon. There you go, Carl Hayden.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I was kind of cracking up. You guys were talking about earlier about the fields right here, playing ball and whatnot, and then you guys brought up the drive-in that used to be over here.
Right.
I mean, I remember that when I was a kid, and that had been torn down probably in the 80, 81, something like that?
No.
I think
Later on.
Later on that?
Yeah, later on than that. It was probably 85, 86
Okay.
where they tore it down because then they put up those warehouses that are back there right now.
But
Yeah.
for the longest time, they left the poles.
They left everything there.
Yeah, they left everything there.
Yeah, because you could cruise by and you could tell that if you knew what it was, you could see it was still the drive-in.
Yeah,
that
you
was
could
there,
see the fence, the dried up
Yeah.
oleanders.
Yep.
I think
The blacktop and stuff.
Mo Udall was an empty field right
Yes,
next
it
to
was.
Butler, and
Correct.
then the drive-in was right behind it, and the outline they had abandoned it, and it was still there until they took down the fencing and the drive-in, the screens and everything.
It's hard to believe there was a drive-in in this neighborhood, dude.
That's
I mean,
wild.
Well, the funny thing is, one side was Mexican and the other
Yeah.
side was white.
Yes, that's what they said.
One side was peso and the other one was acres. That was
cool.
kind of.
Yeah.
One side was Herbie, one side was Cantinflas. Hey, well, I want to kind of get into. I'll just get right to the paintballing. I've been kind of doing a little bit of research on that. I mean, what got you into that?
Man, I mean,
Well, hang on, let's back
got me into
up.
that.
Let's back. You came here in '83.
Yeah, so-
right. And
yes.
you see earlier you started. You just speak the language. In
Yes.
English, you're getting beat up, and then you said,
I was forced to fight, man. Yeah, I got real good at it.
Fights, man.
I got really good at it. It prepped me for today, prepped me for today. But yeah, no, I came when I was 3 years old. By 5 years old, I was already in school. I was in kindergarten. Paintball didn't come till I was like 18 years old, where I had to make a decision if I was going to do military or just keep going to school, and then I was introduced to paintball with my uncle. My uncle just got out of prison, and he basically took us out to play paintball, and took all the kids, all the cousins, everybody. I couldn't afford it. So it's like a luxury sport, super expensive. It's not cheap. So my parents were never going to let me play that, ever. And the opportunity came. My uncle got out of prison. He took us out. We played at the river bottom. And I just loved it. It was like in my blood.
No goggles. No goggles.
No. We had goggles. We had goggles. Goggles, 100%, man. But yeah, no. We played. I loved it. Later on, I figured out that it was an organized sport. Like it was organized. There was like teams. There was companies. There was brands. There was traveling. So then it really like caught my interest. So instead of,
About what time frame would this happen? Because you said you were about 18 when you found this.
yeah, 18 years old. That was like
98.
2008. That was like 2008. Oh, no. Wait a minute. I'm 98. Yeah, 98, 99. Yes. 98, 99.
And leagues were already being formed at that time? Or they were already
Paintball was
going?
around in the late 80s into the 90s. That's kind of when it got invented.
Okay.
And then
There was I grew up in downtown Glendale, and there was a paintball store there for years
in Glendale.
and right on the strip, and they had a bunch of professional paintball guns and paintballs and stuff like that. And I think when Thrasherland was still around, they had
out west.
yeah, over on like
the
Glendale
dump.
Ave,
By the dump, yeah.
Glendale Ave, and like El Mirage Road. They had a skate ramp, a bike track, but they also had a paintball course.
They did.
If that's what you call it.
They did.
Yeah, paintball course. Yeah. So there's two types of paintball. There's the organized paintball, which is a faster pace. kind of like a sporty viewing, concept.
Yeah.
The other one is like kind of just random, like you get to hunt people, like 100 versus 100.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Go get the flag and
Do you do
stuff like
both?
that.
Yeah. What's that?
Do you do both, or you just do
No,
one?
I just do one. I just do the extreme, the fast
Fast-paced.
pace. What they call it speedball. That's what they call it.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's mirrored field, so you don't have another. You got the same advantage on both sides. Same style of setup on both sides, and then you got 5-on-5, and then you just 3, 2, 1.
Start blasting.
Start blasting.
So,
yeah.
so you're 18. You discovered it. I mean, how did you get into? How did you get into the league, or you just you just network? I mean,
Yeah, no. It happened real quick, man. So I started in '99, and then by 2002, I was already being scouted. So there's scouts out there that are watching kids
Really?
play, yeah. And I was one of those lucky ones where they just picked me up, and then I went and tried out, and boom, just made it.
So
pretty
is there?
quick.
I'm assuming there's designated, I don't know, tracks or designated areas, and you go and try your skills, I guess, and then
Yeah, well, I'll explain it like this. There's back players, there's mid players, and there's front players. So you can imagine there's different positions, yes. So for example,
5 dudes.
5 dudes,
Okay.
yes, correct. So then you have a front player, mid player, back player. So usually the back players suppress. Usually the mid players help you. If you're a front player, they help you move up.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So you kind of work together. You have a job.
like chess pieces.
Like chess pieces. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You guys have like
Same,
mics,
yeah.
earpieces?
No
or
mics,
anything
no
like that?
earpieces. It's just
Is that illegal? Is
communication.
that illegal?
It is illegal. Yeah,
Okay.
you can't have earpieces. Yeah,
Just
so-
hand signals and,
Yeah, it's yelling.
and chiflazos.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you got codes. You build codes, right? Like when I make a kill, I yell out G1, and then my players know that I just took somebody out.
Okay.
Then it just goes G2, G3, G4, G5, game over. See what I'm saying? So
You don't
Just let
identify
out the code.
it's a code. Yeah. Code.
So you don't identify like you took out the forward player, the mid player, or the back player.
Right. There's names for bunkers. So
Okay.
we'll call them snakes. We'll call Arizona. I mean, we'll get together. We'll sit down and be like, hey, we're gonna call this Arizona. We're gonna call this the California. We're gonna call this the Center X.
Right,
we're gonna call
right.
this the Pancake. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we create our own names. So that way, when I do yell out G1, it's G1 out of the Pancake or G1 out of the Arizona.
Got
G1,
it.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
in our heads, everything's making sense. To other people, it just sounds like
Yeah, I mean, if you got
Yeah.
the back guys, then you suppressing fire is less, right?
correct.
Okay, okay.
And our bad guys are the ones that are mostly talking. They're the ones that are kind of communicating, letting us know where everybody's at, and then we can, attack accordingly.
Back in when you were 18, you were being scouted, and they picked you up. They brought you to a league or something like
No,
that.
they actually flew me out to this ranch in Northern California, and they just basically said, "Hey, man, Bob Long." Okay, so Bob Long is like the Michael Jordan of paintball. He's one of the biggest inventors. He invented one of the fastest guns in the industry. So he's the one that hit me up and made me an offer. And
Wow.
what got me was that
No
he
kidding.
said, he goes, "I'm going to make you one of the best paintball players in the world." And I was like, damn, that sounds pretty good.
Sold.
Yes.
Make me one of the richest people in the world, and then you got my attention.
But I knew he was already producing products, and I've always been like a producer since I was a kid. I've always been designing stuff, inventing shit since I was a kid. So mentally, I was like, if I go play for him, I can learn business from him, and he'll make me one of the best paintball players in the world, and I'll play for one of the best paintball teams in the world too. So everything was just kind of adding up to a plus when it came to.
Sorry, what was the name of that team?
It's called Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Yeah.
All right. You
Iron
still
Man.
affiliated with Iron Man?
Yeah. I actually kind of inherited the name. What happened is that two leagues kind of combined together and then created one league, right?
Gotcha.
And then the name changed from Iron Man to Oakland Assassins. So then I inherited that Oakland Assassins name because our coach ended up leaving the sport, and then the name just kind of hung. It's kind of like if the New York Mets kind of lose their owner, and then the name is still up there, and then somebody from the team picks it up and says, "Hey, I'll run it,
Yeah.
I'll push it, I'll keep it alive."
Gotcha.
So that's basically what I did. And then when I moved out here to Arizona, I started kind of like a league, kind of like a mentor program where I take kids and I train them how to play paintball. So
I've never done it.
we're gonna have to go.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I've never done it.
I'll be on Pep's team.
Yeah.
2 on 4, 2 on 4.
Suppressor.
Pancake.
We did a team building thing through work, and they took us paintballing, man. And people got messed up, dude, and they put a kibosh to that. We never did paintball again. So
Did you bring any equipment today?
I do not have any paintball equipment.
Oh, bummer, man. Because
I would have.
the last time Timmy was saying that he thinks he could zigzag and you wouldn't be able to hit him, so we were hoping that you'd bring it so that we could help. I think I said he was talking big, dude. When he said that you were coming, he was like, I'm still nimble. Like I bet I could move.
Get the fuck out of here.
I said Matrix. I wasn't going to move.
He would take off his belt and start whipping him like Pootie Tang, bro, like rocking all the.
Yeah, it's funny because at 44, man, I'm still stomping on these young kids.
Hell
man.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, it's
Technique?
Yeah, it's technique, man. You learn how to use the gun, any gun. It could be a water gun, it could be a,
Yeah.
it could be any type of gun, but you learn how to use it as a control.
Can you show my cousin how to use a hunting rifle?
I want to go back to the Michael Jordan guy, the show. What did you learn off of from a business standpoint?
Bob Long. Yeah, he's out of the industry. That kind of pushed him out of the industry because he was real vocal about protecting children. And there was a lot of that going on in the industry, so they pushed him out.
How do you mean protecting children?
Like there was a lot of abuse from the people at the top, abusing children. And at a level, at levels that most people don't really want to talk about.
Right.
Stuff,
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say. All right.
Yeah, and so we were real vocal about that because we had the platform. We're at the top, so we were like, and we weren't with that shit.
Right.
So
right. For sure.
Our idea of exposing these people was easy, but it wasn't because there was like a repercussion to it.
Right.
They kind of pushed us out of the industry after we did that.
Right.
But Bob Long was there from the very beginning. He was there from the '80s, early '80s. And played for the original Iron Man team, right? And then separated from that team, and then built his own team, which was Bob Long's Iron Man, and then turned into Oakland Assassins. But and then he created one of the fastest guns in the world.
Okay.
The Intimidator. Yeah, he was one of the biggest gun manufacturers in the world. Yeah.
And so. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, so that Bob Long, he started the league, and then because you said from a business standpoint, I'm trying to figure out the business point. I mean, how do you monetize on it? I guess what I'm trying to figure out.
You build a gun, right, and then you sell it to the world.
Oh, okay.
So he was he was a gun builder.
Okay.
And then with the guns came pants, jerseys, gloves, but the main product that he produced was the gun. And then he basically brought the gun from pneumatic, which is one trigger, one pull, to electronic, where you can sit there and go,
Really?
and then pretty much go full auto. So he changed the game when it came to electronics.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and pick up. So I'm kind of curious about the Intimidator and how that full auto, because I've seen the containers. I mean, they can only hold so many, right?
180 rounds.
180 rounds. All right, we'll come back on 180 rounds. All right, we'll take a quick break. All right, we are back. Let's pick up on the
Fly again.
180 rounds.
Yeah, let's pick back up on the Terminator. 180 rounds.
180 rounds. Yeah, those hoppers hold about 180 rounds.
For the record, I could dodge probably 177.
That's what That's what Jeffrey said.
Well, I want to get back. I know you can monetize the equipment, but how does the sport get monetized? Because you have to start paying players, crowd revenue, that kind of thing.
Bring in sponsors. I mean,
Right. So basically what they do is they bring in sponsors, you get to build a brand in that industry, right? And then one thing they didn't want was the players to make money, actually. I was one of the first players to get paid to play paintball, and they didn't like any of that. Real greedy industry. I'll say it's a real greedy industry. And I'll say that because when I was a player, I was like the face of the industry, and then when I built my brand, I was the enemy of the industry. And then to top it off, when I started talking about the people at the top, that's what like kind of just killed everything. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, you're rocking the establishment.
Right, rocking the establishment hard, really hard. But the monetization comes from developing products and sponsors.
Okay, so it's predominantly that.
It's predominantly sponsors and products.
So it's probably in a team's best interest to start making product, and then that's how you're going to generate the revenue to start paying back into your team system, right?
Investing
Keep it
back.
going.
Yep.
Interesting. So, if that's the case, I mean, who are the gatekeepers that are not wanting other people to make money? Like somebody has to be making the money, right?
Yeah, it's the people that started the industry, that started the games. You know, they
Okay.
kind of figure out a way to stay attached. Every time the industry takes a leap,
Yeah.
you know, or it evolves, those people are still attached to it. You know,
Yeah.
and then just stay attached. They make their move. They do this cycle of bringing in investors, and then they kill the industry, and then they buy the investor out, and then they bring it back and bring another investor in, and they just cycle
Yeah, it
that.
just keeps
shit.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a very, and they don't want
Yeah.
them. They don't want anybody to know that. So, we knew that, and we were exposing it. So they're like, "Hey, man, let's get these guys out of here.
Right,
we can't let
right.
people know this." You know.
Right.
That's good. I mean, because they're just leeching off, you know, the next, what they say, younger, cheaper, faster. You know,
Next
whatever.
wave.
the
Yeah,
next
and it
wave
sucks
guys.
because, you know, it kind of kills the evolution. It kills the evolution. It kills the growth.
Right. You don't
Greed does, you know? So that's what they've been doing for the past 20, 25, 30 years is just kind of stunting the growth of the industry. People that were helping the sport grow got kicked out, which makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
You want to keep the people that evolve the sport.
So could you develop a rival league, so to speak?
We can.
And try to, you know, give it a new face, give it a new name, give it a new vibe, give it a whole positive, a different spin.
We absolutely can.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it takes money, right? It's easier said than done.
It's easier said than done,
Yeah,
yeah.
money makes the world go round. I get all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
It's in the future. It's in the future. You know, I just feel like there's other things that I can like kind of, invest into that'll be bigger than the paintball industry. You know.
Would you say that right now, is it paintball, as far as its evolution, as far as growth, is it at its height right now? Or is it
No.
is it down?
No, it's down. Its height was when I was playing. So from 2003 to 2008 was when it was like at its peak.
Popular.
Popular. I mean, you had Will Smith, you had Linkin Park, you had B Real, you had a lot of celebrities in the sport, investing, things like that, and it just died out. You know, with the economy. Being a luxury sport is really expensive for people to kind of maintain and keep that going.
Let me ask you this. So when as far as competitions go in teams, how often would you guys compete?
Ooh, so there would be 5 events here in the States and then 5 events in Europe. And then in between that, we'd have practices.
Gotcha.
So I would go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, practice, come back, work at NXC, which was a company that I was building, and then I'd fly out that Friday, again, practice, then a tournament would be, and then practice again, practice, signing, tournament, practice. You see what I'm saying? So it was just kind of like always busy, never home, just
And then-
training.
How many teams would be out there in a tournament?
Jeez,
or
like over
competition?
500,
Oh, wow.
teams
Wow.
from around the world. This was like a world sport. So you had Tauntauns from France, you had the Russians from Russia, you had people from Brazil, people from South America. It's just from around the world. They would just all come in
And how
Playing
many
league.
are on a team? I know on the playing field there's
on the roster.
On the roster.
So on a 5-man like X ball, you would have like a roster of like 11 guys.
gotcha.
What is X ball?
X ball is like a faster paced game where you have penalties. So there's different type of rules to it.
Okay.
You know, faster pace, and it's kind of like hockey where you throw in 5 guys, they score a point, and then you're able to pull them out and put your other 5 in.
Fresh.
He's fresh, right, right. So it has that type of format where it's more like a hockey game,
Right.
But guys with guns,
Right.
you know,
And what's considered a kill shot, I guess?
a quarter size. So if I hit you and it bounces off, it doesn't count. It
And who
has,
judges the quarter size?
there's judges. Yeah, there's refs.
Okay,
Quarter
okay.
size. There's refs there. Yeah, there's refs watching all this stuff. So
Okay.
as long as you get hit, if the ref sees you get hit, though, he's gonna pull you out. Even if it's not the size of a quarter,
Right.
He's still gonna see the hit. He's still gonna pull you out.
So if you got a quarter hit on, let's say, on the arm,
Out.
which would technically be non-fatal gunshot, so to speak.
No, you're out.
You're still
You're
out.
out.
Okay.
You're still
okay.
out.
Just get shot, you're out.
Yeah, gun, your foot, gun, side of the head, anything.
Well, I know when these knuckleheads used to play right here, they put their gun up that they're out, and they would just get, they'd still keep hitting you.
Yeah, that would happen
You
a
know,
lot.
technically you're out.
That would happen a lot. Yeah, where people would just, they call it bonus balls. Bonus balls.
Yeah, you gotta get bonus balls.
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
love that shit. Yeah.
So, I know you practice throughout the week, but is there any other outside training? Like you jog, you run? You know,
I do.
Yeah.
I hit the gym. Yeah.
Yeah.
I train. I jog. I go out there and run. I make it a daily thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
have you ever seen at a competition, dudes start throwing chingazos over it?
Oh man, you know what's funny? I just had this conversation the other day with a friend of mine. That my fans, because I accumulated fans around the world, you know, but my fans are like Raider fans. like if people were trying to fuck
You got
with
the
me on
black
the
hole
field,
over there?
yeah, dude. Like if they see somebody fuck with me on the field, they're gonna come out and they're gonna fight.
Yeah.
There's gonna be stabbings. There's gonna be all kinds of weird shit like that. Yeah,
Fun
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, like that. And that happened to me. And I went to McAllen, Texas, one time, and I started on a team. They basically paid me to go play on their team.
Yeah.
So I went out there and I was one of the guys with like the super fast gun. So it was real easy for me to just come in and just wipe people out, right? And they were
Yeah.
super pissed. They were
Spray
mad.
everybody.
They were fucking so mad, dude. They wanted to fight me. But I had the McAllen, the 956 guys with me, right? So they had AK-47s. It was weird. I was like, holy shit. Like, that's when I figured out my fans were like Raider fans. They're down like that, you know? They want to fight everybody. And
what position do you play?
I play front.
Front.
I play
All right.
front, but I could play anything.
Yeah.
I've been playing for so long. I could play in the back. I could play mid, and I could play front.
So the 5 guys, I mean, was it 1, 2, 3?
No, he told us earlier there was 2 in the back.
Yeah, knucklehead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I missed it. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So when-
and so on the 11 one?
Yeah. So when you break out,
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, what happens is this: like, let's say that we're playing, right? You're a bad guy. You're a bad guy. I'm in front of you.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be like, look, we're gonna shoot the guy running out to the corner, and as soon as we shoot him, you run out to the corner, and then you shoot in, and then I'm gonna work my way down the field. You just keep everybody in. You don't got to shoot anybody. You just shoot paint.
You know, when we have a team, we're just gonna send Timmy run straight out. And then we can know where you're at. That's
Take your rifle.
Basically, cover me, right? Cover me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just telling him earlier that me and Ray from working class were talking about throwing a tournament. And it was called Battle of the Brands, and we were going over all that. And then Ray came up to me. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "I don't think that's gonna work, man. There's gonna be too many fights. Brands are gonna be fighting each other in the parking lot, you know." And we thought about it. We're like, you know what? You're right.
Bad idea.
Yeah. If
That's
this
funny.
was our
People-
team, we probably don't have a chance.
Yeah. look at dead weight right
This
there.
is our
Dead weight.
brand.
It would be fun, man. It'd be
Yeah.
fun. You work out muscles you didn't even know you had.
I bet.
In that game, you know.
Because you got to probably slide, maneuver, do that
Slide,
kind
a lot of
stuff,
sliding.
Duck and dive.
You know what? You'd be a good paintball stopper. That's your position.
You know what's crazy was entering that sport. There wasn't that many Latinos in that sport. I was like the first Mexican to become a pro athlete. Actually,
That's cool.
yeah,
Right on.
like born in Mexico. Now the sport's real big in Mexico. Before there was no paintball at all.
Wow.
You know, now there's a league out there. It's pretty big now.
You never played, Jesse?
Oh, shoot! When I was a kid.
Bonus
Now
ball.
that-
Bonus ball.
Like, nah, I ain't
protected.
sliding around nothing anymore.
Yeah. Different than dodgeball.
I'll be the spotter over there.
Right on.
Earlier, you talked about 500 teams in a tournament. I'm assuming it's a weekend tournament.
Yeah, it's a weekend tournament. It starts on Friday, Saturday, Sunday events.
How do you roll through 500 teams? Is all one
Scheduled.
It's probably bracket.
Yeah, there's brackets and then there's different fields.
And let me ask you this: is there different classes like
Yeah, that's what I was getting
novice
at.
and
Yes. There's rookie, there's novice, amateur, semi-pro, and then pro.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they just split them up in divisions. So you got Division 5, Division 4, Division 3, 2, 1, pro.
Are there co-ed?
No, there's a women's league.
There is a women's league. Okay.
They just started it last year.
So your team, do they field different teams, like like you say, a lower level tier, move people up to the pro league to take one of your guys' positions, for example?
Yeah. There's opportunities to bring in full teams. Like let's say that the pro team that sucked the worst gets bumped down to the bottom, and then they get
sent
kicked
to the
out,
minors,
and then
kinda.
and then the new team fills in.
Okay.
Oh,
You know?
okay. That's kind of how they do it in European soccer.
European soccer, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Move up, move down. Nice. And what about earlier you talked about a little bit about mentorship. You guys really, are you pursuing that at all?
Well, Jesse, yeah, man, it's a very important thing for me, man. I have a son that's, he's going through some difficulties.
Right.
Stuck on drugs, and I just feel like I got to do something in this time of my life, which is helping the youth, helping them not get into that. You know, I feel like that's something that I want to do.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, pay it forward.
I mean, like you said, it's an expensive sport to get started in, and you know, if you could, you know, like your Theo did, right? Take you out to the desert and give you the goggles and a gun, man, and just kind of introduce you to it, right? And give the kids something else to do, because you never know, man. A kid just needs a nudge in a certain direction sometimes.
That's all it took.
Yeah.
Is that
Was a
what,
nudge.
Is that what you guys are thinking about? Is using the paintball platform as the mentorship?
Well, it's in its infancy, so it's whatever he wants to do. If he wants to use that, we'll use that. You know,
We're basically trying to find different platforms.
Okay.
You know, paintball could be one, Seuneva, and churches, and we're trying to give direction. You know, we're trying to change the culture, the mindset, the attitude, and give direction so that we can save, you know, our youth, our young professionals, a lifetime of waiting to grow and be a young professional,
Right.
You know, and give them direction. They kind of get stuck in the rut of what is the environment. Our environment will basically forecast our direction, and if we cannot, you know, work together to have everybody share the same alignment and make sure that, hey, we're all trying to do the best we can be, or be the best we can be, but again, we need the platform to share that knowledge. Look for like-minded people that want to, you know, we want to get ahead.
Right.
You know, we want to change the environment. You know, a lot of our, you know, our youth are lost.
Yeah.
And that's something too. I think through that process, you can expose somebody to professional paintball. Like, you know, most kids might not even know that exists.
Right.
And that is avenue that you can definitely take. And
Yeah,
do.
they probably never even consider, you know,
Yeah.
paintball, you know, because they probably don't know anybody that does paintball, you know, period, paragraph. I mean,
Right.
I don't, per se, you know,
Well-
I don't know anybody that does it.
Well, like when we first met, I didn't even realize that there was professional paintball.
They didn't even exist. Yeah, most people don't. I would say most people don't, man. Every time I explain it, like when I would be in an airplane and somebody would sit next to me, oh, what do you do? Oh, I play professional paintball. They're like, ping pong? and I'm like, not ping pong, paintball.
You're gonna fly from China?
Beer pong.
All the time. I always got that.
Beer
All the
pong.
time.
I play beer pong.
So you're right, man. There's not that many people that understand the structure and that it even exists. You know,
Right.
They don't even know you could make it a career. You could travel the world. You could design stuff. You can invent shit. You could create a company, sell it, build another one, sell it, build another one. You know, it's like.
Opens doors.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing I got out of paintball was the resources, the people that I met. You know, people in Hollywood, people in industry, people in on the other side of the world, China, Pakistan. I mean, it's just that's
It's like
the
you
biggest
said.
value.
It's like you said earlier off the air when I started following it. I didn't follow it to a T or anything like that, but I started watching paintball or getting interested in it back in the days when Be Real was part of the Stoned Assassins, and you said you had that meeting with Be Real and got to know him that way, and like you said, a lot of other celebrities were involved that way.
Yep.
That was great. That's when I knew about paintball back then.
Yeah, that was like 2004, 2005, something like that.
when his team was there a difference in the air?
There was.
A certain aroma.
Yeah, certain aroma in the air.
Literally, yeah. No, I was just telling him the story about the first time when I met him, and he parked, Be Real parked his trailer right in the middle of the event, and it stunk up the whole event. I mean, and this is like at Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego.
Damn.
And dude, I'm telling you, man, no matter what side of the tournament you were at, it just smelled like weed, you know.
That's funny.
Yeah. Dre was there for that. I took her in to meet him and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And,
that's cool.
and we were just fan. You know, we were a fan. Where I'm a fan. No, you're a fan. I'm a fan. No, I'm a fan. And yeah, no, it was cool, man. It was cool.
Were they any good?
No, they got really good actually. I think they were playing in the amateur division. Those guys.
Not as good as you.
Yeah. We did teach them a few things. You know, they were asking.
Bonus ball.
Learning the language, man. I love it. He's learning the language.
Nice.
Yeah, he was in there for a while. I talked to him not too long ago. He said he wants to come back and do another run. You know, he kind of misses it. And
That'll be cool.
You know, if you get celebrity participation, I mean that elevates things, right? I
Elevates
mean,
things.
big time. It, how can it not? Speaking about earlier, you're talking about you met people all over the world. I think Jeff and I had this conversation one time. When you meet people from different places, it opens your eyes, man. There's more out there, right? It's not right here, right? It's out there, and open your front door and walk, man. Because there's a whole world out there, and I think the youth today they're stuck, man. They're in the body, right? They're this homie, that homie, and that's it, right?
That's it.
That's all they know.
It's all they know.
That's all they know.
And a lot of times it isn't their fault, right? Because I've had this conversation. Are you a product of your environment or you're a product of your nurturing, right? What happens behind your front door, or you're a product of what's outside your front door? And I think there is no one right answer for that, right?
It's a combination.
It's a combination.
It is a combination.
combination.
I mean, even like you said, if you don't have the resources, your home life could teach you all this, but you don't have the resources to get out because once you leave the door, then it's fair game.
Yeah, there's your homie.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Who do you first see?
Right.
Yeah, like a good example was when I first launched one of my first brands, which was when I was like a rookie season player, right? This was before I started traveling the world. So I started a brand, and my thought process was like, I'm gonna develop this brand, and I'm gonna sell it to Arizona and California. Then when I started traveling, I developed another brand, and then I was like, I'm gonna sell this to the world.
Right.
And it only opened up when I started traveling. I'm like, shit, I could sell to the world and not just this little
Right.
sector,
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, what you're saying, man. You open up the minds, the eyes to the youth that there's more out there, not just your little hood.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a whole world out there, man.
Whole world out there.
So
yeah.
do you think somebody who wants to develop a brand or a business that they should look beyond in their niche that they think they're going to target or their target audience? Like,
yeah, absolutely, of course, yeah. But there's always a targeted audience. When you launch a brand, you want to target your audience. So let's say you start a brand and it's the tattoo industry. That's what's going to keep you alive. But at the same time, you're marketing to the rest of the world.
got it.
You see what I'm saying? Like me, I market to the paintball world, but I'm just started opening motocross, snow sports, water sports, and I'm starting to distribute to the world now. You know what I'm
So,
saying?
if you mind me asking, what are you doing in those environments?
As far as production,
Yeah, I mean, like you say, you're expanding your product.
so in motocross, I'm developing the pants, the gloves, and the jerseys.
Okay.
In sportswear, I'm doing the top, long sleeves, and then waterwear shorts. Like, and that you can do surfing with it,
Right.
boating, whatever,
Water skiing.
water skiing, all that stuff. That's what it's for, right? Snow gear it's the pants and the jacket.
Okay.
Gloves and then face protection.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of expanding, trying to touch into other sports with the brand right now.
Yeah. Nice.
That's pretty cool. Because you're right. Someone has to pay the bills, right? And that's the niche, right?
niche.
And then it seems to me you got a business mind. You're savvy enough to realize, hey, man, there's more to it, right? And I think that's where people oftentimes get stuck, right?
Well, I think anytime you go into business, you want to scale, right? I mean, you want to get bigger and better. So it's just that I know there's a few things that we have done that we've never really looked beyond, right? We kind of just focused on the target audience, really, right? And never really put any effort or thought into how do we scale it to outside like that, outside the box.
Yeah, the other thing too, I'll share with you, when it comes to developing like a brand, a lot of people develop a brand and they'll create t-shirts, they'll put a logo on it. The t-shirt will say Hanes or it'll say Next Level or something like that, right?
Or to say what's happening.
Yeah. So in order to scale your brand and make your brand worth something, is you got to develop your own patterns.
Sure.
Yes.
So you see what I'm saying? So the way it fits, the length,
Yep.
just the way it fits, right?
I've often argued that a lot of people say, "Oh, I got a brand." Really, you just have a silkscreen T-shirt company,
Right.
really, right? It's not really it's not a design, really. You're just printing T-shirts.
Yeah,
man.
so I
It's not a
sit there and develop patterns. I have like $180,000 worth of patterns, like pants, gloves, jerseys, elbow pads, knee pads, face masks, socks, underwear. I mean, I collected so many like patterns now that I could just start a brand in anything.
Right.
You know.
I think too, on that note, is that you have to get out of your comfort zone.
Oh yeah.
You can't fear failing, because that's when you're going to have your biggest opportunity. It's going to give you direction. So when you get out of your comfort zone, and let's just say you fail, you know what not to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So you change direction,
Yeah.
and then you know how to cater to that niche. Knowing your audience.
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up because I have no fear when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I just launched myself. Like AI, many people are like, what are you doing? Why are you spending your money on that? And I'm sitting there like, dude, I can do it. I can do it. And I got friends telling me, it's like, no, you can't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah.
But, you just can't have fear. Like you said, I mean,
It's
you can't
a
have fear.
mindset.
Yeah, it's a mindset.
It's a
right?
mindset.
Because some people will harp on the fact like, oh man, I tried it, I failed. Instead of like, hey, learning moment. I didn't succeed, but I learned my mistakes. I learned the next steps or what not to do, and then continuing, pursuing something else that from
That
what
it's
you learned.
okay to fail.
Right. Yeah.
It's a growth opportunity, and people are scared of it.
Yeah.
They're scared of change, getting out of their comfort zone. That's a lot of what the mentality is, that it's okay to fail.
That's been one of the biggest things for me, actually. Fail. Like I've always, since I started playing paintball at 18 years old, I got used to winning. Winning. And then when I got older, I started failing. And it was devastating to me. I was like, I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
The beauty of sports, though, it's sports and life go hand in hand. And I'm a firm believer in getting kids involved in some kind of, sport or competitive, whatever it is, because it teaches them to bounce back and come back.
Right.
You know
Dust
what I
yourself
mean?
off,
And then
stand up and try again.
and you-
practice.
and you learn that through sports, and then you can gear it towards life.
Hey, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll come back to sports and life and getting kids involved, and we'll go jump right back. Okay.
Yep.
Right on.
Let me ask you a question. I don't want to say it's a disservice, but I think in the Latino culture, because I think back when I was a kid, right, and maybe you guys feel similar, maybe you don't. We were always told, get a job, right?
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with getting a job. There's nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong.
It's very honorable to do.
Nothing wrong.
But I think sometimes we, inadvertently we stymie ourselves, right? Because the creative folks we've had on this program, somebody gave them a pencil. Somebody, kind of encouraged them along, gave them a spray paint can, right? Whatever the case may be, right? They just fed it. They recognize it and they fed it. And I think and oftentimes it's the opposite, right? We're like, hey, you know what? Don't go paintball. Go get a job, right?
My mom said that.
Yeah.
Again, it's back to they were doing the best with what they knew.
Absolutely.
That's all they knew.
And that's why I say
They did not know.
it's inadvertently, right?
Inadvertently,
they didn't
hey.
mean anything bad by it. They were trying to do the best they could, get a job, get insurance for your family, blah, 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 put
Put a
tortillas on the
roof over
table.
your
Yeah,
head,
exactly.
have a meal, but that's all they knew.
That's all I knew.
I had a relative tell me one time, it was right after high school, and they were concerned like, hey, what are you going to do? And they said, oh, just go get a job at the city. You know what I mean? And we had a lot of family members that worked for the city, made good living and stuff like that. But me, I was like, I wanted more than that. You know what I mean? I wanted more than that. And, but I was offended by, my relative that said, oh, just go get a job at the city, put in your time over there. I was offended. And, you know what I mean? But
Now
My
you're on a
dad
podcast.
worked for the city of Phoenix, and
Yep.
he put in 40 some years with the city of Phoenix. He got a lot of family members. They all successful.
Right.
I could have worked for the city of Phoenix, but again, it wasn't meant to be.
Right.
All of a sudden, I thought I was going to go in the Marine Corps, and then my life changed, and then my dad got me this, temporary job with street crack sealers, and I did it for about 4 or 5 months, and then the contract had ended, and then what am I going to do now?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, for some reason, I landed this pharmaceutical job. And I said, man, I'm never going to work that hard ever again.
Right.
And I was lucky to learn it when I was 18, but I didn't capitalize on it because I didn't have the support system, the people to tell me, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And eventually I said, well, I'll work 60 hours a week. I'll work 72 hours a week. You know, they were paying me well, and
Right.
nobody questioned it. I was a hard worker, always got a good performance, but I was spending half my life there.
You said something earlier. You said that they were paying you for your time, not your
right.
skill set.
Yeah.
And-
Exactly. They were paying me for my time, and they didn't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
They're a $1 billion company. So they have money to give.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, it's easy.
Right.
Right.
But half my time was spent there. And I was like, you know, when you get older, you start saying, what's more important, time or money?
Time.
Time.
So
When you're younger, you're like, hey, I got plenty of time.
right.
You know?
Where are you guys at right now in your mentorship idea and process?
It's in its infancy.
It's in its infancy.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're developing it. We're networking.
Brainstorming
We're
and stuff.
brainstorming. I'm putting together, you know, I put a lot of my thoughts on paper and, you know, ready to reach out to whoever.
Okay.
I don't have a problem, you know, and I rather support my Latino community, but I'll support anybody that
Right.
has the desire to change and want to make a change, and true change, you know,
Right.
not just talk about it, but
Right.
actually do it, bring it
Okay.
about. You
Right.
know?
Blow
I'm a
smoke.
firm believer of that. You know, I used to think about it because, you know, when I was in my position, well, now I'm a manager. I have 38 years at this plant, and now I'm a manager there. But initially, when I started, I was the only Latino on our shift,
Wow.
Right.
the only Latino mechanic.
Wow.
And in our department, there were no Latinos
So-
until I became a hiring manager.
Right.
Then I hired the first black mechanic. Then I hired a couple Latino mechanics, and then you started to see the diversity.
Nice.
Right. We're gonna
But,
change things up.
Yeah, I was because
Yeah.
I was on a mission because I felt like we were underserved.
Do
it was just wrong.
Do you guys have a name for what you plan to do yet? Like of the organization or?
Not yet.
Not
but it's
really.
building,
I
it's
mean,
building.
I was just, you know, I was thinking about Latinx. You know, the next generation.
Right.
You know, they have, I don't know, Latinx, and I thought that was, that's.
Sounds
but
like Kleenex.
Latinx, you know,
Hey, so are you gonna like? Where are you gonna find the kids? I mean, through the
well, there's
churches
plenty.
or?
Yeah,
I know they're everywhere,
My,
but-
my thing is the high schools.
Okay.
You know, hey, I don't think the high schools do a good job of
They don't.
preparing.
They don't.
We got churches, you know, trying to go to the high school and pitch it, and again, share my knowledge. I mean, wow! If
Yeah.
like I said, what I know now, I wish I would have had when I was 20 years old.
Don't we all?
You,
Don't we all?
you know,
Yeah.
we were doing the best with what we had. I'm not the same person I was back then. And if I can, you know, work on the next generation of young professionals, get them prepared, make them understand, make them whole, so that they understand there's
Give them
ramifications.
confidence.
There's ramifications of what you do, and that life is not fair.
No.
Life is not
All we
fair.
need is that nudge. All we need is that
All you
nudge
need is a
sometimes.
nudge, man.
you
Somebody
know?
open your eyes a little
Yeah.
bit, man. I mean, sometimes you just need to listen. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, I would recommend junior high. I mean, because you know, a lot of times the kids, by the time they get to high school, man, they're knuckleheads,
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean?
Corrupted by their environment,
Right.
Right, because
polluted,
you only have so much time in your day, right, to
Right.
try to influence
Right.
someone, and you want to get the ones that are most impressionable, right? Because they're
Right.
the ones that are going to go this way
Right.
or they're going to go that way, right?
Golden Gate. I don't know what it's called now, but the old Golden Gate Center might be a good place to start and look at. There,
Yeah.
it's right here on the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the end result. Because right now I'm in myself I'm in that transition because I'm still working. But what am I going to do after I get out? It ain't about money because the money's there already.
Right.
I mean, I got what I need. I'm well taken care of. I don't have to work after I retire.
Right.
And that's what I felt was going to bring value to me. That's what I want to do because it makes me feel good.
Nice.
Because I want to help people. I've traveled the world. I was very fortunate, like I said, because I got this job and I appreciate it. But now I want to give back. I want to share with the community. I want to share the knowledge. I want to work with the youth, so that they have direction. They know how to sell themselves. They know how to promote, and they know how to fail fast.
Right.
So that they learn from their mistakes, and it's okay to fail.
Nice. Yep.
It is okay to fail, and then even in this day and age, I hate to say it, like social media, man, the kids just beat each other up,
Oh, right.
and
Brutal.
and then they step on them, you know what I mean?
Ruthless. Ruthless.
And like, I think, my kids are grown, but I got a granddaughter. She's in that very vulnerable stage, and so her and I have conversations about it, and something I never had to deal with, right? I mean, you had to deal with, right? If you had a problem with somebody, hey, bro, just take care of it. We'll take care of it.
Exactly.
But it's a different ball game, man. It's a different ball
game. It is,
game.
because it's not a physical one. It's a mindset. If you aren't mentally prepared, you can get crushed.
Oh, easy.
Especially with, again, social media. People just... Oh, the ruthless, and what they see is not really what it is on social media.
Right.
It's only for like the 1%.
Yeah. Right.
1%. Out of millions.
One thing my dad, told me was like he'd hear my music in my bedroom, you know what I mean, and he'd like listen to it, and he always told me, you really think these guys are living that lifestyle? He's maybe some of them, but he always told me, know the difference between entertainment and reality. And then as I got a little older, I was involved with sports and stuff, and I got to meet a lot of people going on different shows and stuff like that. Jay Leno, Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, blah, 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 stuff like that. And I started to learn that it's all fake. It is super fake. ESPN Around the Horn, scripted. You know what I mean? So He put that in my head at an early age. Know the difference between reality and entertainment, and that's what social media comes down to. People are posting stuff. It looks like they're living this lavish life. It's an illusion.
It's an illusion that gets people twisted. That they feel that overnight success. They think it's instant when it's only for a select few.
Yeah.
Correct.
And if you aren't that person, for every one person that has that platform, there's probably 1 million people that have to work their ass off every day, get up every morning and try to figure out why my life sucks.
Yeah. And
We've had to pick Timmy up a lot because he's gotten annihilated in the comments on our platform.
I don't do it for the clicks.
It's brutal.
Kind of going back.
But you have to have a strong mindset.
Yeah.
You do.
And you have to have a support system, and you have to have like-minded people.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a friend who's in the psychology field, and she's a counselor. Anyway, one of the things that she battles with when it comes to, and she counsels specifically kids, junior high, high school, is they all have one thing in common. They all want to be influencers. They want to be on YouTube. They want to be, they want to reach superstardom through that, and it's messing them up. It's messing them up, And it's okay to dream and have that ambition, but have a plan B or something, or this or that, or have some balance.
You have to have that parallel paths. You can be an influence, but you still got to get educated. You got to gain knowledge and networking.
And they don't want to go to school. They don't want to listen to their parents. And it's because of social media.
It is. It's a cruel world, and that unless your support system's there, you're destined for failure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was taught early on too, man. One of my friends told me, he goes, Pep, what are you going to do when you can't run anymore? Like, what are you going to do when you can't play anymore? What are you going to do when
paintball one hits you.
like, what are you going to do? So, that got me prepped. That got me prepped. I was like, you know what? Then I'm going to start, developing businesses. That way, when I can't play, I could attend to my businesses. Like, So
how many businesses do you currently have?
right now I got Top Rank. I had the AI, Pep Tech AI, and then working on ZTV, which is a ZTV. It's a channel. It's a channel that we're building with a friend of mine.
Nice.
It's just 3 of them that we're putting together. We're running, that are.
Have you ever thought developing a super paintball game war battlefield?
They got them, man. I leave that to the game guys.
All right.
Yeah.
The Z platform. You're streaming that? You plan on streaming
ZTV?
it? Yes.
We have a website where we do streaming, and we go and we record the lowrider shows.
Okay.
Different events that go on here in the valley. It's like a lifestyle channel.
Right.
There might be a spot for you guys.
Yeah. That's what
Yeah.
my mind is.
Yep.
The gears are turning.
Yeah.
I can smell it from on scene. I can smell it.
Hey, I'm gonna give you some of my Raiders fans for your comments.
There was another thing too, is that we don't know how to teach our kids to build wealth.
Yep.
Stock market.
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
He turned me on to that, by the way. Stock
it
market.
is the stock market. I mean, we put a little bit of money here, there, and grow it over time.
Right.
Compound
Build a portfolio.
interest,
Yeah.
longevity, but it's not talked about in our community.
And
There's
it's
so many
not taught in our
avenues.
schools.
Not Tony.
Right,
And it's not taught in our schools.
balancing your finances, staying in your
Yeah.
lane.
So I told that to my boys early on. I told them, you guys do a deep dive into cryptocurrency, and I'll be the bank.
Right.
If you
right.
guys can master it, we'll put some money here and there. Right?
and it's
Do it,
called
bro, do it.
diversifying.
How are you guys
Get on
doing?
that.
Well, we're doing all right.
Well, I mean, but again,
Don't be afraid to
you
fail.
got to network with people. You got to get in
Correct.
early.
Yeah.
I
was trying to encourage them to look
watching
into it,
the
to
news,
prepare
the
for the future, right?
CNBC.
Yeah,
So
100%.
Again, it's not just crypto, it's stocks.
Yeah, the stocks I
real
don't have a handle on.
estate,
I wish I
understanding
did.
it, but you have to have a good understanding of it. You have
Yeah.
to do your homework. And again, you got to network with people that have been doing it already.
Yeah, I wish I know the stock
And,
market personally, man.
There'll be ups and downs. I've had winners and losers.
I look at
but
it as a rich man's gambling.
it's
sort of,
it's sort of,
Yeah.
but it's not impossible. I mean, because they now sell slices. You don't have to
Yeah.
even buy a whole stock. You can put $5 on Nvidia.
Nvidia is the one I think to go into. Yeah.
There's so many, that you could
Yeah.
put into, but you got to have a stomach for it. You can't panic when, hey, the Dow's down 1,000 points.
It's cyclical, man. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
It is.
I called him one time. I'm like, hey man, should I pull out? Should I pull out? He goes, no, leave it in.
Leave it.
I'm selling stocks in styrofoam, man.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciate you guys coming on, man. Good times, but I know Jeffrey has some questions over there.
All right.
We're running low on time, so we're going to have him rip them off.
We're open for questions.
All right. So, tacos or burritos?
Tacos or burritos, man? I'm gonna say tacos.
Damn, tacos.
Tacos.
Hard or soft?
Hard.
Yeah, I'll do the
like-
flour tortilla soft. I'll go with
same
the
here. I like them soft, too, man.
Corn.
Corn.
Oh, I don't like corn. I don't like corn tortillas, man.
All
Yeah.
right. Favorite pizza place?
Well, I know my favorite pizza is that Chicago style deep dish
Deep
pizza.
dish.
Oh.
You have a place,
Everything.
you go to?
There's one on Litchfield. Damn, I can't think.
Papa
of it.
Paul's?
No, it's Chicago.
Oh, Chicago.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah,
Oh,
I've been
Chicago.
Man, good pizza.
I'm gonna give out shout outs to Ziggy's. Ziggy's
Ziggy.
Pizza. Ari
We've
over
heard a
there.
lot of Ziggy's, man. I get to have a Ziggy's pizza.
Shout outs.
Yeah.
All right. Waffles, pancakes,
Waffles.
or French toast?
Oh,
French toast.
French toast. Let me back up. I'll go-
French toast, man.
So, when it comes to chicken wings, do you prefer the flats or the drumsticks?
Oh man, done them both. Hey, like that. There you go, Dave.
Like the cartoons?
There you go, man.
Favorite cereal? Everybody loves cereal.
Oh man, I know I do have one actually. But you guys gonna torch me on this one. Mini wheats.
Frosted mini wheat.
The frosted mini wheats. Man, I love them, man. I can't. I got like 10 boxes in my shelves right now.
I'm not a cereal guy, but if I had a choice, if they were like, "Hey, man, pick a box," I'd probably, I don't know, maybe like, I don't know, man.
Captain Crunch.
Yeah, I'll take Captain Crunch for $500.
Favorite Chicano movie?
Ooh, Blood In, Blood Out.
Blood In, Blood Out.
100%. Top
La
three
Primera
Forever. We're all getting blackazos today.
All right. Well, Jesse, you kind of already said what you wanted to be when you grew up, but my question is, what did you want to be when you were a kid? Like when you grew up, when you were a kid?
Well, no, like
You
I
wanted
did.
to-
I
wanted to be
thought
a
I was
Marine.
going to be in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I was dead nuts because, again, the history. My dad, his brothers, my uncles fought in World War II, Korea, Vietnam.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a straight
I
line
was there.
towards it,
All right,
you know,
gotcha.
on both sides, from my mom and my dad's side, history of military
Military?
service.
Gotcha. Nice.
And
So you wanted to be a soldier.
I thought I was going to be a soldier.
Yeah,
What
I
about
thought I
you,
was going to be
Pep?
a soldier too, man. I thought I was going to be a Navy SEAL when I was a kid.
So when you were a kid, you wanted to be a
I
Navy
wanted to be a
SEAL?
SEAL so bad. Yeah, I wanted to be in the military. Yeah, and then I got introduced to paintball. And
Hell yeah.
that was history. You know,
That's pretty cool. Let me see. What else do I have here? If you won the lottery, what's the first thing you would buy? Say you won $20 million.
I'd go traveling, man.
I buy a bunch of plane tickets.
A bunch of plane tickets, man. Go, hopping just all over the world, man.
Nice.
And
Get lost for a while.
It's just I was fortunate to be able to travel within my work. Mm-hmm. It sent me to Germany, France, and you know, all over the continental U.S. And it exposed me. You know, like
It's educational.
Once you do it, it changes your world, and you say, "I want more." You say,
Yeah.
"I want more." But if you don't know, you don't know
Yeah,
any different.
No. I got
travel
some
bug.
nephews. Their senior trip. They're going to Europe, and I tell them, you know, it's going to get you, man, and you're going to
You're
want
hooked.
more, man.
You're
And,
hooked. You're gonna want more.
Open your eyes, open your ears,
know.
open, smell everything, and eat the gelato for €2.
It's worth it.
It's
you know?
worth it.
Name a when you're a kid or teenager, who is a celebrity crush that name a celebrity crush.
Mama Cindy Crawford's. Mama Cindy Crawford.
Sharon Stone.
That's a good one.
Sharon Stone.
And I'll tell you why. What was that one movie where she whipped her legs? White
miniskirt?
That's my kind of woman.
That was Basic Instinct.
Basic
Basic Instinct. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Well,
Michael Douglas.
anybody else? Anybody else have any questions for these
I
fellas?
just got one question for Pep. Where's the worst place you've been hit with the paintball?
Worst place I've ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? That never happened till like
The Basic Instinct.
probably a year ago. Yeah, I played paintball my whole entire life and never got shot there. Last year, I got shot there, standing on the sidelines.
Dang.
Oh, and then that's when they hurt the most, right? When you're not in the game.
Yeah.
Straight
For a week
bullet.
late.
Yeah.
One more question. Guilty pleasure song. The song that you don't want none of their homies to know that you like. You know, it might be a chick song or
You
something.
sing in the
you know?
shower, you sing in the car.
You sing it in the car, you're bumping it.
I have a great one. Remember Silence of the Lamb?
Yeah.
Remember the song that he was playing when he was in
Yeah.
the
Yeah, you put lotion on.
Fuck Me?
You don't get in front of a married tuck. Do you?
I was just trying to bring you there.
That would be one.
What about you, Pep? What do you got?
Anything else.
Oh my God, I'm gonna pass on that one.
Get me out of here. Hey, well, real quick, Pep. I got a question for Pep. That finger action with the gun, does it come in handy in other
Extracurricular activity.
Oh my God, it really does. I get trophies.
Hey, would you call that pneumatic?
Now I call it automatic.
The tickler. The tickler.
These are crazy.
Hey, I want to say thank you both.
Yeah, man.
Jess, Pep, man, good conversation, man.
Appreciate it.
Rich, appreciate the prayer before we got started. Thank you
Absolutely.
very much,
Yeah.
man. Thank you very much. Chico, as always,
Yes,
congratulations, bro.
Yeah, Chico, yeah, dude.
Good job.
Congratulations, you too, Mike and Ash. Congratulations.
Good job, Dad.
Doing it. Nice.
Great job.
Good thing you took after your mother.
When's the party though?
What's the
Graduation
budget?
day's the 21st.
That's where the budget.
Still trying to find
We're looking for sponsors. Hey, on that again, thank you guys
Yeah,
very,
thank you
very
guys,
much.
man.
Very,
Great
very much.
conversation.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate
It was,
guys.
it was our
Appreciate
pleasure. It
you.
was our honor, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on and
thanks
giving
for
us
having
time.
on. Yeah. You know.
And
For sure.
please keep up. I know it's in infancy, and it's in infancy, but go on with your idea about the kids. You know, keep
Yes.
it going.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
see
maybe
what
in the
we can do.
future, when we got everything going on, maybe we can come back and touch base and
Absolutely.
see
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if, meanwhile,
How
if there's
things going.
anything that we can help out with,
Right.
you know where we're at.
Yeah, same here. Same
We'll
here. If
work
there's
on it.
anything,
Yep.
the TV, ZTV. I'll be having meetings next week, and I'll start throwing little things in there about podcasts. Maybe opening up a spot
Yeah.
on our channel.
Let's see what we can do. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's
All right.
something we
Yeah,
can
appreciate
do.
that.
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to Metal.
Who, me?
You know, brother. You know, the guy at the end.
Hey, man. Hey, Pep, hey, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Jesse, hey, thanks. Rich, hey, thanks for earlier what you said, inspirational. Jesse, I know he's a Cowboy fan, so.
Oh yeah.
That's an
Who that man? Who that man?
Next year.
Chico, that's an edit.
We can talk Raider Nation, but we can't say, the Cowboys.
Fans, I'm gonna get some fans, some Raider fans, bro.
That's why it's right there, Jesse. That's why it's right there.
I saw that.
Cinco de Mayo.
That is
Hey,
funny.
don't forget to hit like, subscribe, follow us on all the social media platforms. Go to www.SeunevALifestylesCo.com for some merch. Other than that, hey, thank you guys. Thank you very much, everybody, for showing up, showing out. This is Seuneva Lifestyles presents What's Happening. Let's go.
This is how we do it on the avenue.